That's bullshit. No offense, David Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
That's a huge bitch.
All right. I had to do that twice because, everybody, not everybody, people kind of like, they say, oh, how do you get away with the songs? And it's not that I get away with the songs. It's just that I cut them out of the video. And if you're ever wondering, I'll edit them out of the video is what I'm saying at the beginning of the show. And then when that fucks the chat, it doesn't matter. I got to start again. I got to get in my head. So I'm not in the head. This is what you get when you come to the live show. You understand? You come to the live show and it's like I've said this before, but I was so fascinated when I saw WWE SmackDown or Raw live. I forget what it was. And it was so different than watching it on the television show. It's just so, I think it's a worse experience actually in a lot of ways, but it's like if you ever been to a live taping, oh, fuck you idiots, Ivan and Ravnos, I had to mute that shit. Why? It was Panic at the Disco, Brendan Urie singing a song from his last album. Why? Why did you need to mute it? Because it had a beat to it? Because it wasn't so fucking, ooh, the music was marbled with the anguish of the life story and it was musically sufficient. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. From time to time, put your fucking, let your I'm too cool for school facade, which never tricked anybody, slip. And just enjoy some fucking music that's got a beat to it and a rhythm and a melody. Oh, God. It had zero soul, says Ravno. It was redundant and annoying and overprocessed and had zero soul. No, it was fine. It's a fucking fine. It's just some fucking song. Shut up. I'm so fucking tired of these people with the music snobs. I've said before, music snobs are the worst kind of snobs. The worst fucking kind of snobs in the world. Hidalgo says, Ravnos, name a good song band ensemble then. Jaffe says, Jim Ryan, why are you so angry inside? Because I have to share the planet with people like Ravnos. Yeah, that's right. Eddie T says that he only listens to music while sipping 1917 Chardonnay out of a top hat. That's right. Okay. Salvador says, I want Jaffe to go work at McDonald's for a day. Look, I work, I don't want to act like I'm, salt of the earth, like, but some of my favorite jobs, I worked at a movie theater, which I loved, and I worked at the USC Cinema School operations, which was like, scheduling rooms for student films and stuff. Jobs like that are fun. Don't get me wrong. Don't fucking get me wrong. Some of those jobs are terrible. I'm not suggesting, just any job's great. But if you have a good boss and you have good coworkers, it's a lot of fun, man. Ravno says, I'm trying to name a good song. That's hard. You goddamn right. You don't know shit. When the rubber meets the road, people like me step up. We step up and we play Panic at the Disco. Okay, and we also play Eminem and Jay-Z and Montel Jordan. This is how we do it, okay? We fucking put our balls on the line and we say, this is what we like. We don't give a fuck what the cool kids think. You can't even name a song. How about any Nine Inch Nails song? Nine Inch Nails is great. It's great. They got some good music. But my God, what everything is great? Sometimes you're in the mood for Nine Inch Nails, and sometimes you're in the mood for some goddamn Tiffany, I Think We're Alone Now from the 80s. Sit the fuck down. Marcusor says, been on an ELO kick. You goddamn right, Mr. Blue Sky. Well, that's not ELO. Was that ELO or the Jeff Lynne? I mean, it's the head of ELO, but ELO is just Jeff Lynne. So, okay. Bukaki says, Jaffe is being a music snob. Oh, look at my eclectic taste. Aren't I special? Shut up, prick. Why don't you go clean out somebody's shitter, Bukaki? Why don't you climb underneath somebody's mobile home and use your fucking mouth? That's why they hired you. You're like, Bukaki's good at, sucking shit out of holes. Let's put him under the house and pull the shit out of the pipe. God damn. Whoo! Welcome to the show. Welcome to Gabbin' and Games for Wednesday, the 23rd of the month of our Lord, October. If you're just joining us, you're missing all of that I just did because I cut it all out. Unless you were here for the live show. Sucks to be you not being here for the live show. Ivan says, I love how this feels like a middle school boys club. No girls allowed. We got a couple ladies in here, though, thank God. That's right. Bukaki says he's actually cleaning sewer lines right now. That's all they'll let you do. That's all they'll let you do. All right, boys and Bellettis, come on now. Welcome to Gabbin' and Games. We got some game news to talk about. We got some fun stuff to talk about. What do I got today? I got some Grums and Sweet Baby Inc. stuff that you're not going to hear anywhere else because I don't know why. We're going to talk, believe it or not, a little bit about Concord. We're going to talk about the open beta coming up very, very soon. First for PlayStation Plus members for Monster Hunter Wilds, whatever the fuck it's called, that was just announced today. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Am I going to watch the Fallout presentation? No, I'm not a big Fallout guy. Not my cup of tea. Coolest Maximus, we're here for you, baby. He says, taking an early lunch to watch this. Make me proud. Well, we'll do our best. We'll do our best. In fact, Coolest, you have won today's game. Well, I'm not giving you a game. It's a game we're going to play together. Coolest, tell me your birthday. Not your day. I don't care about the day. I don't want to get any kind of weird, I'm trying to, dox you or anything. What month is your birthday? Is your birthday, Coolest Maximus? What is your birthday month? Because I'm going to tell you. Oh, wow, that's my brother's birthday, December 4th. Okay, the month of your birth is the clown that's been hired for your birthday party. This is going around the internet. You get Pennywise. Okay, I'll show you this in a second so everybody can see. Bukaki, what's your month of your birthday? I'll tell you who you get, but you're going to get Pennywise entertaining you at your birthday, Coolest. But yeah, that's not a bad one. Mine's terrible. Mine's April. I got Pogo the Clown, which was that John Wayne Gacy clown. That's like the real one. Who else? Chris is in May. Fuck it. I'll give you Chris because Bukaki's too slow. You got Bozo the Clown. Oh, now January, JB, you win. If I'm going to get murdered by any of these fucking clowns, JB and Michael Struckman, you guys are the winners. You guys get January, which is Art the Clown from Terrifier. If you're going to die from a fucking clown, fuck it. Or I'll just tell you. January will get you Art the Clown. It's not live, Bulbo, no. Just like your grandmother. January will get you Art the Clown. February, you're going to get Ronald McDonald. March, you'll get Captain Spaulding from the Robert Zombie motion picture shows. April is Pogo the Clown. That's mine, John Wayne Macy. May, Gacy, whatever his name is. May's Bozo. June is Joker, but Joker from, the Joaquin Phoenix motion picture. Pennywise of the recent Pennywise, the Cincinnati Pennywise is July, meaning the one from the recent motion pictures. August is Twisty the Clown. I've never heard of Twisty the Clown. September, you're going to have Krusty the Clown. October, you get Killer Clowns from Outer Space. November's is Wrinkles the Clown, and December is the classic original Pennywise. Fuzznut says, yeah, if Ronald will kill you over 25 years with heart failure, or he'll just kill you with, they didn't put Sweet Tooth in there, PK, or they'll just kill you with the E. coli that seems to be going around the McDonald's. But there you go. The month of your birth is the clown that's been hired for your birthday party. So, enjoy that shit. Your July, you got the old Pennywise. You got the new Pennywise, Mark C. Sorry, you don't get Tim Curry. YouTube doesn't look. All I can tell you, Bulbo says YouTube doesn't show me Jaffe's live. I don't. If you subscribe to the channel, you not only have to put the notification bell on, but you also have to go into your app if you're watching it like on an iPhone, and say that you're accepting YouTube notifications. So a lot of people, don't get it because they don't take that extra step. So I don't know what to tell you. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Gavin Games, my dear, delightful friends. Good to see everybody. It's good to have you here on this Wednesday. It's beautiful here in San Diego, but it's cold, which I love. You know what I never had before I'm going to have this afternoon? I'm going to treat myself like I have to have a treat to overeat and eat crap. Come on now. Who are you talking to? But I'm going to go get myself a pumpkin spice latte. I've been meaning to do it, but it means I have to leave my home, and I don't want to leave my home. I don't like going outside, but it's beautiful out there, so I'm going to go... I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna get me a pumpkin because everybody talks about the pumpkin spice latte. Speaking of foodstuffs, tomorrow lunch with Jaffe for Cult of Calypso members, God of War members, and all mods will be happening at Thursday tomorrow, 1:00 California time after tomorrow's morning show. We'll probably play. Well, it'll be over on the Discord. We'll record it for members so you can watch it later if you can't show up live. I can use Uber Eats for Starbucks. I didn't know that, Bukaki. Okay, I'll do that. I still should probably go outside. But anyway, lunch with Jaffe. So we'll probably play a little poker on the Discord. We'll share some stupid memes and videos and just shoot the shit for about an hour. Very casual, very relaxed. Not really a show. It's just literally hanging out and having lunch. That's what it is. So if you're a member at that tier, that's coming up tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you there. Got a couple more days if you're a member to watch Brain on Games, the episode about all kinds of freedom in video games. Brain on Games, the show that members get a week early, where we talk about more serious game design, game philosophy related stuff. That's going to be coming up free for everybody this weekend, and a new episode will be coming up. I think it's going to be about horror coming up Monday. So that's happening too. So, it's a good time to be a member. Also, one other thing, obviously, Black Ops comes out tomorrow night, California time, 9:00. I will be playing this, but I will be playing it with members. Sometime this weekend, we will be doing a members Call of Duty game afternoon. It won't be night, but it'll be Saturday or Sunday. Stay tuned to the channel. Stay tuned to the Discord. Again, it's on Game Pass, so you don't have to buy it if you didn't want to buy it. So it's on Game Pass. You can obviously buy it on PC, buy it on PlayStation if you want, or buy it on Xbox if you want for some stupid fucking reason. But Eric says you want to play Call of Duty 2. Great. Well, come on in. You got to be a member, though. Got to be a member. Ravno says, am I insane for never using food delivery services? And I have never had food delivered that wasn't pizza. You're not insane. You're probably smart, because the minute you actually start going down that road, it becomes staggeringly addictive. It becomes so easy to just go, I'm hungry, but I'm busy. Oh, fuck it. And they of course they know what they're doing. They make it so easy to just go to Grubhub, reorder, click, beep, everything's done. Everything. Oh yeah, food delivery services are incredibly expensive. It's stupid. It's a waste of your money. It's dumb, but convenience, baby. Here's the big news. Some of the big news. After a big creative shift, according to VG247, Amazon taps Battlestar Galactica showrunner, the new Battlestar, the quote new, it's 20 years old, 15 years old now, to lead the new God of War series. This is Ronald Moore. Now, two things come to mind when I first saw this. Three things. One is great, because he's clearly a talented lad. People love the Battlestar. Number two is, I could be wrong, but I am almost certain Corey, it was either Corey or Mark Anderson of Sony Santa Monica fame, but I want to say it was Corey, is a huge Battlestar fan and a huge fan of this particular guy. So I'm sure he had something to say about this, and I'm sure he's happy about it. So cool, man. I also was like, didn't this guy have some kind of controversy, though? I was like, was this guy somebody who tweeted something really awful or was found with some weird, illegal porn? I clearly not, because I searched it before the show. I'm like, am I thinking about the same guy? I know there was this guy that had some controversy around him, but I don't particularly know what it was. But that said, though, he's clearly a talented fellow. I believe Corey's a fan, and I think this is a really good get. I'd be curious what it was about the old showrunner where they parted ways with creative differences. But I don't know. I have no idea what it was. But, I mean, this is good. This is exciting to see where they go. I'm still not really all that interested in the God of War story anymore, but I have a very, biased take on it. I mean, I was... obviously super involved in the old God of War, and the new God of War never really, even though I love the 2018 one, I'm not really invested in it. So, If it's going to be another one of those, Amazon shows that's all kind of somber and, slow burn and prestige TV, I have no fucking interest. I mean, maybe it'll be great and I'll watch it, but I'm over that for sure. So define illegal porn or weird porn. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like illegal porn. Basically, if you're looking up kitty stuff, that's illegal. But I don't necessarily know if that's what it was or if it's even this guy I'm thinking about. I just seem to remember there was something about this particular guy, the showrunner, that was a little controversial. Hello, Jezbelly. How you doing, buddy? Long time no chat. Let me ask you a question, Jezbelly. Somebody over on the Discord was like, these guys ran Jezbelly off the Discord. Were they dicks to you over there? I'm getting tired sometimes of my Discord. Cocky does a great job modding it, but I'm getting tired of it. It's like a goddamn boys club, man. I don't like it. I don't mean that just because there are men there mostly, but just they're kind of rude to the ladies when they show up. Is that just me? I don't know. Listen to this. Scotty Woodford says, hey, I've been a member of Diet Soda Soldier for 31 months. I have something to say. What is it, Scott? What do you want to talk about? He says, I'm going to WrestleMania, and I hope you're doing well, everyone. Yeah, WrestleMania, where is it this year? In Vegas, right? I was considering going just because that, even though I opened the show talking about how less exciting watching wrestling is live, at least the WWE product, than it is watching it on TV. But I imagine if you've got good seats, something like WrestleMania would be great. But to be fair, when we saw Raw, we were like average seats, and at that point we're watching it on the television, the big screen anyway. And at that point you're like, okay, but you don't have any of the announcers, which is really dumb. It's not like it's a real sport. So you'd think they would mic the announcers and pump that shit into the audience at a wrestling match, but they don't. At least not the WWE doesn't do it, which is really kind of shitty. You spent $2,000. Your tickets were $2,000, Scott Woodford. Holy shit. Okay. Jezbelly says, Bukaki says, I said on the Discord, no girls allowed. Jezbelly says, nah, they were okay. I just took a little content creator break. Happens sometimes. I genuinely like your Discord. And to prove it, Jezbelly steps up and rejoins the Diet Soda Soldiers. Why can't you guys be more like your sister Jezbelly? She's smart, she's funny, she's witty, she's got her finger on the pulse of the nation, and she's a Diet Soda Soldier. Ready for battle, ready for duty. I don't know what we're going to fight against, but I'll find something. Trust me, guys. At the end of the show, I'll be mad about something. But that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear the Discord didn't push you away. God damn, $2,000 for WrestleMania. That's great, though, man. You're going to have a great time. You're on the floor. What is it, Cody? Who are the fighters this time? The big. Have they haven't announced the big match yet, have they? I'm assuming Cody Rhodes and somebody. I mean, I don't really give a shit about Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns. I haven't really been into wrestling since Becky Lynch and what's her name? The goddamn Ronda Rousey. And I like the ladies. I like Bailey, but I've The Rock and Austin. Steve Austin and The Rock are not going to headline WrestleMania. They may show up, but they're not going to headline it, are they? I mean, that's cool. They're going to be there, but they should bring out Vince McMahon. I'd watch it just for Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, with his hands tied behind his back, wrestling the woman that he abused. I'd watch the fuck out of that. You goddamn right. Mick Foley and The Undertaker are the best WWE stars, says Eddie T. Undertaker came off really great in that McMahon documentary. I mean, I don't know if he was involved in any of the McMahon controversy and stuff, but I will tell you that, it's so funny, when you see a lot of these wrestlers, and some of it's intentional with the kayfabe stuff, but some of it's just like they're not really good actors. What you see is what you get. Like Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar. Stone Cold Steve Austin is pretty much Stone Cold Steve Austin. But when you see The Undertaker as him, and then you see him as the character, it's like, wow, he's really performing. They're very, very different. Very, very different, which is cool. $2,000 though, man. Have a great time. Is the paid Discord access going to happen, or have you ditched it? I don't know yet, man. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough value there, but there might be. All right. But anyway, there's your God of War news. Do with it what you want. I mean, let me ask you guys in the chat. Is anybody excited about, let me just put a poll up. I wish the polls could go faster. You thought, Bukaki says, I thought you would have disliked Undertaker since he endorsed Trump. Let me explain something to you. I think Trump's a nightmare. I think he's awful. I think he is a disaster of a human being, let alone a president. But I don't hate people who have different opinions than me. Now, if Trump proposed a law, if he were president, to be really harmful to people, and that person, like The Undertaker, says, I like Trump and I like his what he did with Roe versus Wade, then I'd have a problem with The Undertaker. But, you know, I mean, you can have your own opinion. I don't give a shit. Is being on your podcast count as an endorsement? No. I don't want to get political because that's not what the show is, but let me just say this. I will just say that I like having people with different opinions on my fucking show when I can get them, because I'm interested. It's like, you're platforming them. Dude, everybody's got a platform these days. It's not like, you're going to, what? Imagine being so stupid that you can be influenced by, I heard this guy on Jaffe's podcast. Oh, suddenly my worldview has changed. Come on, man. I knew Jaffe would come around on Corey's God of War. That's not true. If you go back and look at the God of War review I did for Corey's 2018 God of War, I said it was excellent. I finished it. It was one of my favorite games of the year. I didn't have to come around on Corey's God of War. I have yet to come around on Ragnarok. I don't like Ragnarok, but I was a very big fan of God of War 2018. But God of War as a brand now, to me, is, it's just not really interesting to me anymore. And obviously I come from a very strange, very unique position, and I'm sure that plays a role, but I just don't find it all that compelling. But let me ask you guys, here comes the poll. I'll say this. Are you excited about more God of War in any format? So that means game, that means a TV series, whatever. Here you go. I just popped up the poll. It exists for you guys. I'll read you guys after the next couple stories the update. I'll tell you what people are saying. Okay. Would you rather they end God of War or reinvent it again, says Movie Maniac? I would rather them... I don't know, honestly. Yeah, Valhalla was great, Ba90. I agree with you in the chat there. I don't know. I think what it is I think you have to go off somewhere, whether it's Corey or Eric Williams or somebody new or the two guys that did Valhalla. I think it was a co-directed thing. I think you have to go off into your quiet time place and really reflect on what is this franchise? What is this about? What is it offering to people? And then maybe, but I think right now, no, I don't think there's anything about it that is compelling anymore. And let me run this. I know this is kind of weird, but I had this thought the other day. Let me ask you a question. Hang on. Jezebel, yeah, I've been playing the shit out of my Switch because I've been playing Zelda Echoes, which I love. It's excellent. Eddie T, I saw you posted that on Twitter. He says, I'm going to get to what I was going to tell you in a second, but he says, do you see how the new Dragon Age is pretty much God of War now? I don't know what to make of Dragon Age because I saw you posted that, but then I saw some other Dragon Age content that was posted a few weeks ago, which was Battle, and it didn't look like that at all. It didn't look like a God of War game. So I don't know what the fuck it is, but my ears are perked up for it. I'm interested in kind of seeing what's up with it, but I'll wait for some reviews. It's coming out next week, so. Echoes of Wisdom Jezebeli is Jezebeli's game of the year. Yeah, I don't know if it's my game of the year, but it's in my top 3 for sure. Absolutely. So what I was going to say though, about, wait, hang on, Mike. I'm all over the place, guys. I'm getting to chat, then I'll get back on track. I promise. I'm sorry. I reached out to you on Discord about joining Stitch and Adam show. Adam is interested. You can talk. I don't know who they are, but if they want me on their show and they're new people that I haven't heard of and I haven't made inroads into their audience that I can steal from them and siphon away from them. When I vomited in the bed, I just laid in it. I'm not even fucking with you. I did that. It's really a true story. Yeah, I would love to. Absolutely. I'll check later. Shit, what was I going to talk to you guys about? I don't even remember anymore. Botha says, please talk to SNA. Okay, cool. I will. If they'll have me, absolutely. It sounds like they will. We were talking about God of War. We were talking about, I know what I was going to tell you. Okay, tell me what you think of this. I'm playing Silent Hill 2 last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever. And the guy in the, James is his name, whatever. The protagonist of the game, I like the guy, right? I like the all the voices and the performances in Silent Hill 2 are really good. And I've been thinking about this for a while, and maybe this is a stupid idea, but I wanted to run it by you. What if, and it reminds me of Mickey Mouse, right? Mickey Mouse, if you know much about the Mickey Mouse cartoons, like cartoons today, there's a season of cartoons or a series, and each season, Rick and Morty are on a meta multiple season adventure. Or if you watch, any of these cartoons today, for the last 20 years, it's been the same characters, right? But back in the day, Mickey Mouse was the brave little tailor, and then he was hunting ghosts, and, there wasn't this consistent sense of who he was. There wasn't this kind of canon of Mickey. Every story was like, let's put Mickey Mouse in this role. Let's put Mickey Mouse in this role. And I'm like, do you think that's good for games? If you were to take Kratos, because this is where it was coming from. Somebody's like, Jaffe, are you still excited about God of War? And I'm like, if you were to take Kratos, the idea of Kratos, and let's just take Corey's Kratos with the beard, and let's take Chris Judge, the actor, and say, we're going to take the makeup off of him. Obviously, we're going to take the scars away, but he's going to look like Kratos. And he's going to be voiced and performed by Chris Judge. And he's going to be that character, but it's not going to have anything to do with God of War, and he's not going to know his name is Kratos. His name might be Tony. I don't fucking know. But he's now in a 1930s action-adventure gangster mobster video game. And it's like, does that work? Is that cool, or is that stupid? Right? I think that's kind of cool. Like when I'm playing Silent Hill 2, I was just like, I'd play another game with James that doesn't have to be Silent Hill. He doesn't even have to be James. He could just be the same. He looks the same. He's the same actor, basically. He's the same digital actor, but he's now in a sci-fi adventure. Toxmod says that would be awkward. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Kratos coded, says Darth Nugget, right? I think that's cool, but I don't know. Talk to me, chat. It sounds like you got a crush on James. Don't blame you, says Mark. No. If I had to have sex with a man video game character, it wouldn't be James. I got to think about who it would be. But it certainly wouldn't be James. James is, if you're gonna go over to that side of the world, you probably need to pick. You don't want vanilla ice cream, and vanilla ice cream is James. You can't get more vanilla than James. You want to. If I had to have the sex with a male video game character, it would be the Nemesis character from RE3. I kind of figure, fuck it. If you're going to go all in. Go all in. Doesn't Yakuza do that already, Carlos says, regarding taking... I don't know Yakuza well enough. Do they do that? And if they do that, is that cool? I think that's neat, man. I think that's really, really neat. Speaking of James and Nemesis... Resident Evil, is that his name, Nemesis? Whatever. Speaking of James and Nemesis, and I think that's really, really neat, but I don't know. Like, Soul Mike is saying Kratos battling the demons and gods from ancient Babylon. I don't mean it is Kratos. I mean it is the digital model that plays the character of Kratos. He plays other things. So it sounds like Yakuza already does it. I'm in. I'd love to see. I mean, it might be stupid. I don't fucking know, but who would care about using the same character model, says Blackjack. I don't know. I would, because I'm bringing it up, you moron. I think that's cool. You may not, and that's fine. Where were you raised to communicate? Did you go to the classroom? Did you go to the little red schoolhouse when you were a tiny wee lad? And I literally am bringing up the question and saying, hey, I'm playing Silent Hill 2. I got this idea, and it sounds like Yakuza beat me to it, but I got this idea of taking the characters and doing it in different things. What do you think? Who would care about using the same character model? How about, oh yeah, Jaffe, I don't like that. I don't think a lot of people would like that. Where did you people learn to communicate? In a goddamn truck stop bathroom with glory holes in the wall? What's the matter with you, is what I would want to know. It's what I'd like to know. Laura Harris was the first digital actress who starred in multiple games, Eddie T says. Who was that? Who was that? Laura Harris. I don't know who that is. Laura Harris. Let's see. Laura Harris game. D2 and D&D2. But so what other games was she in then? So in D2 and Enemy Zero, Laura Harris did not play, like, she was different characters? Or was she a character named Laura Harris? I don't understand. Explain that to me. Actors do it all the time in movies. It works sometimes, others and not. Right. I think also Stephen Jacobson said that. I think also maybe because when I was playing Silent Hill 2, either the motion capture performance or the voice or both, I really got kind of a Tom Cruise vibe out of the performer. It seemed like he was kind of channeling Tom Cruise in certain lines. And so I was like, yeah, Tom Cruise does it. Absolutely. Okay, so Laura Harris, according to Eddie, played different roles in different places. What do you find would be the appeal of using the same character models and recasting them? It's probably, well, okay, a couple of reasons. The first thing I think is that you do form a connection, right? I mean, you form a connection with these digital characters, obviously in third-person games, that you spend a lot of time with, whether it is, now I can't remember his name, James in Silent Hill 2, or the AI that wander around with you like Maria in Silent Hill 2, or Johnny Silverhand, right, with Keanu, right, in the fucking Cyberpunk, right? So there's a sense of maybe part of the appeal is I would like to spend more time with that character, but I don't want to have to wait for 3.5 years for another Silent Hill game, right? Just like in a movie, you might be a fan of Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise or whoever, Sydney Sweeney, but she's not just in one thing. Or Zendaya, she's in shows and she's in movies, and it's like, okay, I like James, I like Chris Judge's Kratos or whatever. I want to see more of that. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of interesting. It would be just like a movie star says Nugget in movies. Arnold is always Arnold, even as the different characters. Video games aren't like that, but they could be, right? Yeah, I think it's neat. Botha says, feels like Norman Reedus already went through this with Death Stranding because he's already a well-known actor. I mean, I will tell you, I have been surprised. I have been surprised at how much I like celebrities in video games when it works. I thought Keanu in Cyberpunk was awesome. I think, Bruce Willis was the first one I remember, he was, you couldn't see him. It was from Apocalypse, right? From Activision. They paid him $1 million to go into a sound booth and go, and just, which is pretty much what he sounds like now. That's not nice to make fun of the man's maladies. I know. Come on. But yeah, I dig that, man. I dig that. I think, yeah, Bruce Campbell can be Bruce Campbell in anything, says Blue Gamer. Right. But if you took a game and said, this game is starring Bruce Campbell, I don't know if people would show up for it. Like, the big reason there are movie stars is for a long time they brought you box office. You could open a movie with a Tom Cruise and it was a guaranteed 20 million opening weekend. That's different these days now, but so I don't know if it would be worth it, but I mean, you're inventing these characters. So it's not like you have to pay Tom Cruise. You have to play Chris Judge, but it's not like you can't, no offense to Chris Judge, great actor, but you can replace Chris Judge. But if he looks like Kratos or whoever they call it, it's kind of cool. I'm in. Michael Struckman says, you've just explained why I like Fortnite. I like having a locker full of characters I can use in vastly different experiences. It's pretty great. Yeah, I think there's something there. I like advertising in games, says Eddie T, when done right with, okay. So I was talking, Eddie T says, I like advertising in games when done right, like with Kojima, where Monster Energy increases stamina. I think we were talking about this. I think it was Constellation on Colin's show the other day. And, but I don't think Colin wasn't on that one, but we were talking about this, I think. And I mean, Kojima got away with it in Death Stranding with Monster Energy Drink and the Ritas motorcycle AMC show, I think because it was clearly, or Kojima's so wacky and weird that it was clearly, it seemed like it was ironic, or it seemed like it was meta of meta. But I think when you do it without that irony, you got to have a lot of advertising, or it comes off like a promotion. Like what I mentioned on Constellation was like, in Jet Moto, we were like, let's get, Butterfinger and Mountain Dew and all these racing sponsors. And at the end of the day, we could only get Mountain Dew and Butterfinger. So they ended up being in the game, but it ended up looking like it was a Mountain Dew Butterfinger game versus like, it's like NASCAR, right? So if you're going to do it, and it's going to feel like sponsorship, you got to have a lot of it. Otherwise, it just comes off as weird. I would love Kratos. Oh, here's interesting. Riz says, I would love Kratos in Mars fighting aliens with Atreus doing space exploration. Right? I wouldn't want to call him Kratos, but if you took, let's just call him Judge. We'll call him the Judge. How about that? It'll be like WWE characters, right? If you took the Judge who plays Kratos and you made a space adventure that was totally in his wheelhouse, violent, bloody, but it starred the Judge as a new character, I think that would be great. It's a good idea. I think Sony needs a balls to the wall, fun action epic game. I'm tired of everything being so serious. Let's go to their, are you excited about more God of War in any format? 52% of you, it's close. 52% of you say yes. That's the Kamala Harris vote, 52%. 48% of you say nope. Now it's 47%. Shut up. There's the poll. We're going to end it there, but 53 to 47. So it's close, man. I think they got some work to do to bring the fan base back, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Let's move forward. Jaffe needs to be a consultant in the Amazon show. Let me explain something to you. Hi Ace. Yeah, it's okay. You can go. I'd be more than happy to, but God of War has become its own thing without me, and it's become extremely successful without me. I mean, it was already extremely successful. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they have an inclination or a need to pick up the phone and call me, but if they were to pick up the phone and call me, I'd give them my thoughts for sure. All right. Check this out. This is happening, especially if you're a PlayStation, let me bring this up so you can see it here real quick. If you are a PlayStation, what do you got to be, a premium? You got to be a PlayStation Plus subscriber. You can get into this 3 days early, October 28th, starting at 8 o'clock California time. Everybody else has to wait till October 31st. But this is the Monster Hunter Wilds open beta. It'll be running across PS5, Xbox, and Steam. I'm interested in this. I've never really spent much time with this genre of game. I've never really spent any time with a Monster Hunter game. I have spent time with the EA ripoff, which I actually thought was good, like Wild Hearts or something like that. But the open beta is 3 things. You get the full-on character creation, which if you're into Monster Hunter, it's going to let you get a jump on 2 months, 4 months. Because it'll carry over into the final game that comes out in February. If you're one of those people that like to spend a lot of time, making your character, then you'll get like the first cutscene and the tutorial missions, which teach you how to play the game. And then the real meat of it is this thing that they're calling Dashaguma. Now, again, I'm talking stupid because I don't know this shit. But it's the Dashaguma hunt. It says it challenges you to take down the alpha of the pack. You'll be able to call in online players to assist. And since the beta supports crossplay, you shouldn't have any trouble finding people. So, I'm gonna play it if any members want to play it. I know this is a beloved game. Look how it looks great. If this, it's a beloved series, it's a mega hit for Capcom. I think I'm going to try to jump on. I may not like it, but I'm going to give it a try. It's free. What's going to cost me? Some time. So if you're into it, hit me up on the Discord. Members get priority. We'll play a little bit when this comes out. Next week, the beta. So just so you know, if you're into this, the monsters do look great. I agree. Mass Produced says enemies look amazing. Fuzznut says I'm totally obsessed with these games. And Joker says this is day one for me. Right. I mean, these games are huge. They do incredibly well. For Capcom. I don't know if this is their number one series, but it kind of seems like it probably is. I usually associate Capcom obviously with, the Resident Evil and the Devil May Cry's and things like that, Street Fighter. But this looks pretty cool. You won't play Space Marine with me. What's wrong with me? Space Marine to me feels more like a single player game. I know has co-op, but I don't feel like Space Marine is something I'm like, I want to play with other people. This is a game that's designed from the ground up to be played with other people. So if you want to play this Bukaki, you know where to find me, motherfucker. Just make sure you wash off after coming out from under the sewers. Yeah, you're like the lizard in Spider-Man. Way of the Lao says Monster Hunter's the shit, Papa Jaffe. Epic shit if you can put up with the fucking onboarding. I understand. And again, this is brand new. I've read that they are trying to expand it and make it easier to get into. So maybe the onboarding is going to be better. I don't know, but absolutely. All right, Joker. Good to see you, buddy. Mass Produce has made it to the, Mass Produce says, I made it to the third town in Metaphor. It's so good. And earlier in the chat, I saw that Morgan was saying she, has spent like 40 hours in it and she feels like she's just getting started, which kind of is intimidating to me. Because I'm like, fuck, man, this, I'll never finish it. But I have enjoyed my time with the demos, so it might be what I come to after I finish Zelda, which I don't think is going to take me that long. So, all right, let's move on with the news of the day, my friends. Listen to this. I don't like this news story. I don't like it one bit. Rivals soon. Oh, fuck. Marvel Rivals. You're right. TJM. That's December 6th, I think. Okay. Yeah, Bulbo, there you go. Are you getting into Black Ops 6 for better audio? I don't like this. Hang on. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? I want to make sure we're looking at the same screen. There we go. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has built-in support for better audio tech that'll cost you $20 for 5 years. This is bullshit. I understand that you could argue, well, Jaffe, how much different is it than if you're playing Call of Duty Black Ops or any Call of Duty or any multiplayer game with the best headset? I get it. But this is specifically tuned for Call of Duty. What it is it is a service called Embody. It's personalized. I'm reading this from IGN. It's a personalized audio company that's already worked with Final Fantasy XIV, Cyberpunk 2077, which I'm fine with because that's not really PvP. Immersive spatial audio that works with any headphone. So it'll work with this piece of shit or earbud that greatly improves the player's spatial audio experience. Now, if you know Call of Duty multiplayer, that's the difference between winning and losing. To know where those enemies are coming from. And it's never been very good. It's always been one of the biggest problems with Call of Duty is the audio engine or the tuning of the audio engine. It's very difficult. You can tell when footsteps are close, but a lot of times it's like, are they above me close? Are they below me? Are they behind me? I don't really know. So this will make a difference. And it is, Eric, I agree with you for one of the few times in my life. It's pay to win. And there's a free trial. And frankly, if I do the free trial, which I will, and it makes a difference, which it seems like it will, I'll probably subscribe. Not because I want to pay to win and I want an advantage over you, but because I've longed for this in Call of Duty. It's like, my God, I don't think I would be MLG. But it certainly would allow me to know where to aim my rifle or my sights when I hear footsteps. And right now it's just like, well, you know, you gotta, what is it? How do you break 60% up? What's the percentage chance? They could be forward, back, left, right, up, or down. So what is that? That's 4 is 25. And then you get 5 is 20. So 6 would be 16% chance. Salvador Pierre, I usually ignore you because you're an idiot, but that's a good one. He says Jaffe membership is pay to lose. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think PS5 just added a setting to adjust the 3D to your own liking. They've had that before. They've had that for over a year. I didn't notice it made much difference. That's the difference. That's why I'm glad this will have a free trial, because if it works, great. But if it's just as rotten as every other service I've tried to fix that, then I'm done. I'll tell you something. Let me tell you let me fucking, oh, I know. Get a Neuralink if you care about getting better. I mean, that'll be something. Can you imagine? I mean, they won't, I've seen the video footage of the guy playing, I don't know what game it was, but he's playing video games with the Neuralink. I'd love to see a title, like an esports competition between people just with Neuralink. That'd be cool. I wouldn't want to do it though. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to try it because that's, it's really important for this game, but we'll see. These headphones, yeah, I mean, these are like, I don't know, $15, $20 headphones. But they work fine. We're going to get back to games, but I'm going to give you guys, do they support 3D audio? Probably not. Let me ask you a question. I'm serious. I want to give you guys some financial advice out there. Okay. Now, I have not had a hit video game in almost 20 years. A little less than that, but 18 years. I made some good money after that, but I haven't had a profitable job since 2019. Okay. And I'm still sitting pretty doing this almost every day because I love it. That's because I buy cheap headphones. That's because I drive literally a 2003 Toyota Corolla. Okay. If you are throwing your money away on shit because you worry what it looks like, you know what you're really throwing away? You're throwing away your freedom, because you're going to be working for the man till the day you die. And you're going to be doing shit that other people want to make them money. So don't do that. Don't fall for their horse shit. And let me give you another little piece of advice. The reason you fall for the horse shit is because the very powers that be that want to sell you the horse shit spend a lot of money marketing the horse shit, telling you that without the horse shit, you won't be happy. Come on now. How's the 2003 car? It's great. I literally took it in to the shop. I don't know how many. It was like a month ago, 3 weeks ago, because the engine light came on. They're like, oh no, this car's in great shape. You just had to it was a dial they had to flip or something. I don't fucking know. How many miles? I don't know. Under 200,000. I don't drive it that much. But yeah, I mean, it works. It gets me where I'm going. When it breaks down, I'll get something else. But Crazy. D-Truck says, think of a super chat. He says 2003 Corolla is badass. It's excellent. It's a great fucking car. Yeah, there you go. Lucas says people start earning more, so they start spending more, and into the hamster wheel they go. It's dangerous, man. Is the amount of games you buy a waste of time or a waste or not? No, because it brings me joy and it's part of my job. It's how I make money. I don't make a lot of money, but it's how I make money. Ravenos, I don't want to talk to you on a call. People don't like it when I do calls. Do you know why? He really wants to jump on the show. You're not in the waiting room. I don't see you. He says it'll be 20 seconds. I'll bring you on later if I have the energy. But just tell me, do me a favor. What do you want to talk about? In like one sentence, type what you want to talk about. And then I'll decide if I want to bring you on or not. Because I got to be careful. People drop off if a caller's not good. So Jaffe Bubol says, did you commit to the Black Ops 6 audio experience? Well, I'm committing to the free trial. And if it ends up being meaningfully improved, then absolutely. Otherwise, no. He wants to talk about 3D audio and wasting money. I've already talked about those things. I'm good. Sorry, buddy. Listen. Concord. We have to talk about Concord. Concord is, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I am, but correct me if I'm wrong. I like how Ravnos is like, like I've made the biggest mistake in the world by not bringing him on the show. Your mistake was sounding boring. I want to talk about 3D audio and wasting money. I already talked about it. How are you? Do you really think if you want to talk about the same thing I just talked about, you have to somehow in a sentence or two convince me that you're going to be more interesting talking about it than I am. And I have an ego. So get better at pitching, baby. Come on. But listen to this, though. I don't think they've announced. Ravnos, go out and do a little digging. Get back to me with this. Then I'll bring you on. Firewalk Studios, I don't think they've laid anybody off. I know the director stepped down as kind of a sign of like, hey, my bad. I don't know if he left the company or anything. But the studio's still going. They're still getting paychecks from Sony. And I'm not saying Concord's coming back, but given the fact that the last recorded update was 13 days ago, and there have been numerous updates to this, it wasn't like, I mean, you know, maybe there are some legal things they have to do, like because they've pulled it, and so they're having to pull data, and maybe they're having to update it to get it to run on certain dev kits that have been updated. There's a lot of explanations for this that are not, they're still sitting there in the studio going, I think we could fix this. Let's try some things. But that is absolutely a viable read into this that they have had. And I don't know, I think there's a history, but I'm not sure how to get it, where you can actually see the number of updates they've done since the game basically shat the bed. And here we go, update history. So let's see. These guys have done, and they're not going to tell you what it is, obviously. It's all encrypted and shit. But 13 days ago, 14 days ago, they've done like maybe 15 updates. And again, I agree with you guys in the chat. They should have been free to play at launch. Yeah, it should have been. But, well, Brett Moore says it's weird. You would think Sony wouldn't want to waste their money with an entire studio twiddling their thumbs. I don't think they're twiddling their thumbs. I think they're sitting around going, can we save this? Thematically, can we change it? Can we build a new game in like 8 months that basically is using the bones of this, but with different systems? You know, can we address the problems? And I think that's incredibly wise of them. See, I disagree, Wallace. Wallace says shoulda, woulda, coulda. I don't agree. You know, I think that is, I mean, look at Bloober Team. You know, look at Bloober Team. Those guys, a lot of people, including me, they earned the fact that they were being written off by fans because they had let a lot of people down. But failure is not always permanent failure if you can learn from it. And these are a group of very talented people who made this game. I understand that you may not necessarily like the thematic of it, or you may not have liked the kind of game. And that's fine. I didn't particularly like it, but that doesn't mean there's not something there. And I'm not bringing it up because I know anything. I'm bringing it up because I'm curious. Yeah. Brett Moore says, I don't think the IP is salvageable. Yeah, they may not even be doing that. They may be looking at it and going, well, like somebody in the chat says, yeah, they're just taking some time to turn. It was Eric says they're turning everybody white, obviously, right? No, my guess is they understand the IP is gone. It's dead. But they may be looking at it and saying, how fast can we reskin this? And how fast can we make this into something that is actually marketable? I think that's cool. I think that's how you win, is you fail and so my opinion on that. Google has a whole thing about failure. At least in the past they did. I don't know if it still exists, but it's smart to learn from failure, not to just fire people because they fail. So we'll see. Layers of Fear was pretty cool. Layers of Fear Movie Maniac, one of my favorite horror games of all time. And it was directed by the same guy who directed Silent Hill 2 and Observer. But between those, they had lots and lots and lots of games that, in my opinion, were not anywhere near as compelling as The Promise. And it's nice to know they were able to stick it out and figure out how to turn that around. That's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. Anyway, do what you want with Concord. I don't care. I like underdogs. I like when people fall and they have support to get back up. You know how many times, you wouldn't have Sony first party without it. You know how many games we canceled Sony first party when I was there, when it was PS1 era? How many games didn't work? Nobody knew what they were doing. I'm not fucking with you. I'm not lying to you. All of internal development in America, at least, because that's where I was, no one knew what we were doing. People, I got a $2 million top-down shooter greenlit and produced for 2 years before it was canceled. There was like a $3 million game called The Incredible Adventures of Tobu, I think is what it was called, which was conceptually beautiful and great art and wonderful thematics, and nobody knew what the game was until they finally fucking canceled it. But those people went on to do massive things within the Sony structure, and those lessons were applied to future games in the Sony structure. So, I would even look at Connie Booth, who is a huge reason Sony first party is still so successful. She did one game internally developed. After all these years external, she did this game with Jet Li. What was that game on PS2? Set in Chinatown, whatever it was called. Didn't do very well. She clearly didn't enjoy it because she never went back. Rise to Honor, right. She never went back. And she said she learned from that, or I think what she said to herself was, you know what I'm good at? I'm good at being a great external producer. And she went on to do Uncharted with those guys and Ratchet and the Spider-Man series and a bunch of other massive hits. So, and even in the chat right now, you're bringing up like No Man's Sky. That's another great example. JB says those days at Sony are over, Jaffe. That's not the point. Those specific days are over, but the lesson of just because you fail doesn't mean you are disposable. That lesson is as old as the hills, and the people that know how to go, that is disposable, that person is not disposable. Once they hit failure, look, think what you will of me, but I spent $2 million of Sony's money on a game that was abysmally stupid, which was Dark Guns. And Sony still looked at me and said, you get to go to Santa Monica after this massive failure at the time. $2 million was a lot of money. And you get to be the creative head of Sony Santa Monica. Well, we got God of War from that. We got Sony Santa Monica from that. So, don't be morons. Don't accept that failure is the end. Failure is the lesson. Failure is the gift. Run towards failure, my friend. Okay. All right. Blackjack says, yes, Jaffe, but you have talent. Yes, and if you played Concord, you can't say none of these people had talent. It was a very well executed title. You may not have liked the theme, you may not have liked the modes, you may not have liked the business model, but does that mean that the guy or the girl who programmed the animation system, or the guy or the girl that was the CTO that got it running smoothly across the internet, or the guy or the girl that figured out how to do the aiming in a way that felt good on a controller compared to like Drawn to Death that felt terrible on a controller, does that mean they had no talent? Of course not. Of course not. Okay. Let's move forward. Let's move forward, shall we? Let's talk about, speaking of failure, successes, failures, whatever. We got the software charts out for September now. There's some interesting things here. I have some questions for you guys. You guys seem so fucking smart. I don't know Tim Kaine. I know who he is, Jose, but I've never met him. But I have some questions here because I don't quite understand these numbers. You can see them yourself on the screen. Let me make it bigger if you're, hard of seeing, whatever. I'm not going to read them all. I'll give you the highlights. Number 1 is the soccer game, EA Sports. Number 2 is Astrobot. We'll come back to that. Number 4, Legend of Zelda New Echoes of Wisdom. Hogwarts Legacy still in there. God of War Ragnarok jumped up to 10. I don't know why. Was there a sale or was something going on? Dead Rising, obviously, because the remake. I don't know if the Dead Rising here is the remake or what, because it says Dead Rising last month was number 502 and it jumped up to number 11. That's weird to me, unless you're saying that Dead Rising and Dead Rising remake are the same game according to the charts. And so what hit number 11 is the remake, but what was it, 502 was the original? I have no idea. Elden Ring still hanging in there. Modern Warfare. Capcom Fighting Collection. Arcade Classics. Not too shabby, coming in at number 16 for a game like that. And then Space Marine at 18. So here's where I'm confused. Here's where I'm confused. Okay, so Astrobot came out on the 6th, right? So they had pretty much a full month to hit number 2, which is great. I don't imagine this game's going to have legs, but it might. I think it's a really good game. If you like these kind of games, it's a great game. But I don't know. Maybe as the holidays roll on, we'll see more ads for it. I think there needs to be a bundle for it for Christmas, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think this is United States only, yeah. And this is digital and physical, but certain places like Nintendo and 2K do not provide digital. So Legend of Zelda is probably higher. But here's what's weird. So Legend of Zelda comes out 20 days after Astrobot, right? And so it comes in at number 4 on the physical charts because they don't report digital, right? So it could very well be number 1. I don't know. I'm surprised it's that high. I love it. I think it's fantastic. One of my favorite games of the year, but I struggle to see how it's going to be a big success, but maybe it is because it seems so kiddie. And I know Nintendo's kiddie, but whatever. But so that's at number 4, and that only had like 10 days. Is that right? About 9 days to get to number 4, right? And Astrobot had an entire month, and it's not counting digital. So my guess is Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom probably did a hell of a lot better. But the one that has me confused by this is Space Marine, right? So Space Marine did according to Focus Entertainment, I think, they said Space Marine. Let me show you this stat. They said 3 million, but I don't think they said 3 million sales. Okay, it says Space Marine a month ago has sold 2 million copies, and that was a month ago. So let's just say in America, that's 1 million copies. And that came out on the 9th. So it had a month to do 1 million copies. I think what it was the 3 million Ravnos was not, they said it's been played by 3 million people. And in that, obviously I don't know how they get that if it doesn't go to sales. So yeah, these guys are digital as well. So this is 1 million copies, somewhere up here because it's higher. This doesn't account for 1 million copies. Although the 1 million copies back here, sorry, I'm all over the place. It sold 2 million copies outside of America a month ago. This is recent. So let's just assume if you include digital, but you limit it to just America, this is probably 1 million. Okay. So if that's the case, this is confusing to me because if number 18 is Space Marine and it sold about 1 million copies, that would mean that Star Wars Outlaws has sold more than 1 million copies in its second month. And that doesn't make any sense because I heard that Star Wars Outlaws only sold barely 1 million. Now, again, Star Wars Outlaws is also one of my favorite games of the year. I'm not knocking it. I would love to see it be a hit. It's excellent. But can somebody, I'm not a good math guy, as anybody who worked with me who was a programmer can tell you. Does anybody understand how this tracks or makes any sense? How do you have a game down here that conservatively in America sold 1 million copies? And this game in its second month, in its first month, it barely broke 1 million. Now it's sold in its second month when it dropped in the charts more than 1 million. What am I missing? Is what I would like to know. What do I think Astrobot sold? I understand the list only counts sales from the time period. I get it. But in this time period, if in this time period, this new game, Space Marine 2, sold 1 million, then in this time period, everything above it sold more than 1 million. Right? And in that, the second month of Star Wars would see it in North America selling more than 1 million. And they haven't reported sales for Outlaws, but they have said Star Wars Outlaws sells less or sells 1 million. So Star Wars Outlaws sold 1 million copies in a month. That was in the phone call from Ubisoft, right? Where am I getting Space Marine 2 sold 1 million in September? Okay. So if Space Marine 2, according to the data, which we just looked at right here, Space Marine has sold 2 million copies, and that was a month ago. And let's assume they're talking worldwide, okay? If that was a month ago and it was 2 million worldwide, this is this month, or let's just say it was a month ago too. Let's say half of those sales were Space Marine in America. Okay. So in that case, that's where I'm getting the million from. So what's confusing about that? I know there's an asterisk next to Space Marine talking about all the asterisk means is they're not reporting digital. So it's probably actually higher. So I don't understand. Jaffe search history, Kay was a lesbian. Yeah, absolutely. Because I was trying to do a video about, is this game actually woke? And is that what people are upset about? Because I played the game, I finished the game, and I'm like going, what? What's woke about Star Wars Outlaws? And the only thing I could think of is there's a scene in Star Wars Outlaws where Kay kind of seems to have a flirtation with one of the ladies who sells something on top of a cliff on one of the planets. And I'm like, is that what they're talking about? But where is this coming from? So yeah, let me know if you've played it or if you've seen anything. I wanted to do a video on it, but I couldn't find it. Okay. The phaser beams are a bit too colorful. I did make my ship thrusters purple because you could kind of customize that. All right. Well, we'll get anyway. So there's nothing to say then. I just didn't understand it, but I'm glad to see Space Marines doing well. I'm very glad to see Echoes of Wisdom is doing well, at least so far. Good for Star Wars. I think it's its third month or second month hanging in there. It's a good game. Hopefully word of mouth will carry it through the holidays. It hasn't dropped price yet, which is great to see. I'm glad to see Ubisoft is starting to, we'll see what happens Black Friday, but it's good to see that. I get a lot of the sales are from digital these days, but again, the interest is still the same, right? I mean, the interest is still, hey, more people were interested in soccer than Astro, and more people were interested in Astro this month than Madden. Whether or not this is 1 million in digital and 500,000 in physical is kind of irrelevant to the bigger point of what are people vibing with. Now, interesting, Metaphor, is Metaphor even on here, or is that coming to the party too late? Yeah, Silent Hill and Metaphor are not on here. Now, if you want to see if you want to see what's hot in America right now, I'm going to bring the guy who made the Biz game on the show. He said he'd come on and talk. So, okay. NBA 2K is number 1 on PlayStation right now. Fortnite 2, Call of Duty, obviously people ramping up for this week for tomorrow's launch. Number 3, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Number 4, Soccer. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6 is Madden. 7 is College Madden. 8 is the boxing game Indisputed. Overwatch is number 9. Number 10 is Roblox. So, we're back into this is the Johnny Sixpack charts at this point. Pretty much everything on here is Johnny Sixpack. It's except maybe Dragon Ball. I would say except Dragon Ball. Everything else here is like free to play and boxing and kids. I've played Metaphor already. I've played oh shit. Stuff's getting choppy. Really? You're telling me this? I've literally dropped the bit rate down to like nothing and we're still getting choppy? Are you guys getting choppy shit right now? If you are, I'll figure out a way to fix it. I'm sorry about that. Not for you. Okay, good. Good to hear. Okay, let's move on. Let's get to a little well, first let's get to this. I just saw this. I didn't know this. Did you guys know this? This is from Super Sissy. I don't know. She does a lot of retro stuff, but I just want, it's not really a news story. But fuck you, Bulbo. Bulbo says, Jaffe, you say your job is to play video games. Isn't your job also to finish them for the full experience? Here's the thought, bitch. It's only a job if you pay me. When you become a member with your grandma's credit card, I'll answer your stupid condescending question. Otherwise, sit the fuck down, put the fucking soup in front of your grandma, turn on the fucking Prices Right for her, and get back under your covers and watch your goddamn phone with Gabbin and Games, you stupid moron. Yeah, I got him. Listen to this. Super Sissy says, did you know in Japan, he's all sorry. Did you know in Japan, oh God, Ravno says I had a stretch in Metaphor last night that was 70 minutes of dialogue. Oh God, no. Then no, I'm done. I won't even buy it. That's it. No, thank you. Did you know in Japan, Bionic Commando for Famicom is called Top Secret Hitler no Fakatsu, meaning is Hitler's resurrection. In Western country, this needed to be changed totally. Here you can see the artwork changed. Did you guys know this? I did not know this. This is amazing. I would have loved that. Let's kill Hitler. And you kill Hitler at the end, like in Inglourious Bastards. But if you need any proof that video games are not the art form that movies are, and it's a bunch of lip service from the companies, here it is right here. Although this could probably come out today. I didn't know that. And then she goes on, there were swastikas in the game that had to be changed to these eagles in the United States. And then this is the in bad guy. This is you killing Hitler. You get to blow his head off. I had no idea. When I was working at Sony ImageSoft, we always had to take crosses out of games because Japan didn't want crosses in their games. But I had no idea that Hitler was the Bionic Commando bad guy. That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. Okay. Let's talk about Grums for a minute, and Sweet Baby. Okay. Didn't Japan ally? You have to ask me if Japan was allies with Hitler. Are you asking me? No, the crosses were not because of the U.S. At least when I was at Sony ImageSoft, we had to take them out of Dracula and a couple of other games because Japan did not want, or Nintendo specifically, did not want any reference to any religion. That maybe today it's the U.S., but back then it was not. We could have kept them, and we kept them. If you play one of the Dracula versions on Sega CD, it is a cross. but the Nintendo one's not, or something like that. So, listen to this. I have a couple things to say. I want to show you a Sweet Baby speech that was given about 2 weeks ago that I haven't seen covered, but it's really interesting. But before that, I want to talk to you guys about this tweet that Grums did. And it actually came on, there was somebody else, I can't find the other person's tweet, but it's just, it's the self-importance of these people is just batshit to me. It is hilarious to me. Here, I'm just going to read you his tweet. If you don't know Grums, he's a guy who worked, and he's been on the show before, but I've blocked him since then. I just can't stand the guy. I'm sorry to say. I try to be nice to everybody, but I think he's just, he's either mentally stunted, which is fine. I don't, and maybe we're judging him in a way of like a neurotypical person, and maybe that's just not where his brain is. And so in that, he really sees the world very differently because he's very neurodiverse, and I'm neurodiverse in a lot of ways, and nothing's wrong with that. But that's the only excuse other than him just being a fucking moron. But here's what he says. He's a guy who goes on about, I want to, change the industry. It's so woke and all this culture war stuff. Brett Moore, it makes me exhausted too. I'm not going to argue about culture war stuff. I just want to bring some news to you. I'm not going to argue with people about it. I agree. But I want to show you this Sweet Baby thing as well. So here's what he writes. He says, I don't have to do this. Yeah. Okay. I know, I think you do. I knew it was important and critical to not just games, but to all of civilization. This has got to be a joke, but it's not. I knew I would be the target of thousands as I became effective. I knew they would come after my work, even my family, and they did, just as they went after Smash, whoever that is, and so many others. I increased security and buckled down for the storm back in March. No, you didn't. I knew all this, and I did it anyway. And I'm not stopping because we are finally turning things around. I believe in what I do, and I know that so long as we stand up to their worst, it will only make us stronger. All of us. We can change gaming together. Right? And then it's important to all of civilization. And then if you actually kind of read some of his sycophants and whatnot, it's like, thank you for everything you do. Never forget what the woke mind virus has done to our hobby. Let's reclaim gaming. Your voice is very important. Courage is contagious. Keep it up. The reason they go after you so much is because this is bigger than just gaming. They are trying to change the culture so they can instill their ideology everywhere. TV, movies, political offices, right? It is so ridiculous. And I'd like to think maybe he's like a WWE guy, right? Maybe this is all kayfabe. Maybe he's just playing this character and in that way, I tip my hat, Grums, because I have thought of doing that as well. I have thought of going, you know what? I am going to just lose my shit and I'm going to play this character on the internet like Boogie did back in the day with Francis. And I'm just going to watch the money pour in. Jaffe got hit on the head and suddenly he's become super anti-woke, right? And just like McMahon fights his children in the storylines, my son Calvin, him and I would be at each other's throats on Twitter because he hates me now because I'm all, red state and I'm voting for Trump. I mean, we would make so much money at the Jaffe household. It would all be bullshit. But this is what I'd say. I unless Grums is playing a character or he is neurodivergent to the point that he has these massive delusions of grandeur, I think he's out of his fucking mind. And I think it's really worrying. And I think the people that really believe in his shtick are really worrying. Ravno says he's a psyop. Chris says he's playing a character. He might be, but now I want to show you. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing. It's 20 minutes long. This was from a conference, XOXO Fest. And Kim Belair, who is the CEO, the much attacked CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., gave a speech. And I want to show you some choice bits because she's talking about her response to all of the negativity that has come her way. And obviously Zoe Quinn was there. This is clearly a progressive left-leaning site, progressive left-leaning conference. I'm not here to tell you how to think, although I will tell you how I think when it comes to Sweet Baby Inc. and things like it. I think their heart is in the right place. I believe in progressive causes. I believe in diversity. I believe in inclusion. I don't necessarily like a lot of their tactics. I don't like some of the things. I don't like, as much as I believe in their cause, I don't think it's okay to try to pull somebody's account off Steam because they were trying to say, hey, I don't like their cause. That's the first, it's not the First Amendment because it's private business, but I respect the fact that, you know, you have a right to push back, but even if it's something I hold dear, like these causes. But I don't like that tactic. I don't like some of the things she said, which I think were just hyperbolic and more fronting for conferences she was at back in the day. But these are two things that she said that I think in this speech, I'm just going to play you uninterrupted probably. You know me, I'll probably interrupt. Just two of these clips real quick. So this was her talking just a couple of days ago, 2 weeks ago. Here we go.
Put that together. The Google went bad. I shouldn't have done it because rather than any praise or people going, wow, how did you do it? Or just, hey, a narrative development company, what does that mean? I'm really interested. We were instead found by kind of 4chan and the worst people on Twitter. And
remember how I said I wouldn't interrupt? I'm going to interrupt. We'll go through this together. Tim Duncan says she wants white men out of gaming. She's an actual racist. I mean, I don't really know when she said that. I think what she said was her experience as a black woman in gaming made it that she wanted to form a company around people she felt safe around. And that did not include white men. Now, whether or not that's legal is a different conversation, but I don't know if that makes her racist as much as it makes her going, I've been in the game business for 10 years and this has been my experience. If I'm going to start a company, maybe I want to do it with people that vibe with me, but whatever. I'm not here to speak about that, but this is one of the talking points that goes around. Sweet Baby Inc. are basically a branch of BlackRock that consults on ESG and gaming. Basically, if you want ESG funding, you need to pass the ESG scores by this company, right? This is all the unproven stuff. There was never anything proven about the $70 million or $7 million bribe that they were trying to get the Wukong developer. Every time you ask these people that are pushing back on companies like Sweet Baby for evidence, they go silent because they don't have it. And then they say, I try to give you evidence, you don't pay attention to it. And you're like, okay, I'm paying attention, give it to me. And then they go silent, right? But let's keep going.
Looking back, there is a funny element to it where I go like, people were kind of talking like, I've discovered a secret Canadian company. Like, these are the guys who did it. And the discovery that they had made was actually like our public-facing website that we advertise our services on and which you can go to right now if you'd like to collaborate with us or just learn more. It's not hidden. And if it is, it's very bad because it's at sweetbabyinc.com. But literally within a few hours of me seeing that first post, we were not only being accused of, forcing a black person into Alan Wake, which one is cool, but we didn't do, and also of putting pride flags into Spider-Man's New York, which, again, so good, love to see them, but we were not responsible for them. But suddenly we were being told that we were, funded by BlackRock and that actually we weren't a narrative development company, we were a DEI company, some kind of vaguely defined like censor, and that we were here to use all of the power we had amassed to force companies to go woke. And obviously that's a very baffling like understanding of what work for hire is. I'm not sure how they imagine we did it or how the contracts would be drawn up for it, but it kind of didn't matter because it just kept evolving and spinning out of control. And suddenly the conspiracy was just alive. They were finding photos of us, sometimes our families or our contractors. They were doxing me and other members of the team. Anyone calling these attacks out as doxing was accused of doxing themselves or lashing out. That's me. I'm the CEO. I have issues. But yeah, this went on for weeks and then months. At its peak, which was somewhere around like February, March of this year, we were getting something like 300 emails a day, which Admittedly, some of those are going to be spam or
All right, so you get the point of that one, right? So she's basically, a lot of the stuff that people have said they did, they had nothing to do with. Again, there is zero evidence that anyone has provided that this company, and again, I don't like all their tactics. And more importantly, I don't like, as most of this speech is about how they're a narrative company. They're not there to make things woke. Yes, they push inclusivity and diversity because that's sort of their philosophy, and they don't hide that, but they're a work for hire narrative company. I don't think they're very good. I was playing this game that they're very associated with at Steam Next Fest, Usual Jade, which I thought was not a very good game. I don't care about their, I do happen to actually approve of their agenda in terms of their views of the world, but I don't honestly think they're bring a lot of great writing to the table, at least that I've seen from what I've played. But whatever, that's kind of a different thing. But for me though, yeah, no one has provided the evidence. They just go with this shit and it picks up and it becomes truth. I'll play you one more clip from this, though, real quick.
like I felt bad not for doing it with who could see this thing for what it was, but while I appreciated the defense and the team appreciated it so much, that support is still really hard to feel in the panic of the moment. And so instead, I felt really guilty. I felt responsible. Like I felt bad not for doing the job that I love, but for building a space that was meant to be protective and creative for a bunch of people and having it turn into something that, through no fault of our own, saw my friends and my loved ones and my colleagues and my coworkers just viciously and brutally hurt. I felt bad for making a company at all. I felt bad for believing in it and for speaking on it. People would come up to me, especially at events like I went to GDC, and they would very kindly tell me that they were inspired by me or by us and by our collective strength and our resilience. And I would say thank you so much, but deeply I would feel very ashamed, which intellectually I know is wrong, right? We are doing something good. We are writers and designers of tremendous skill. And
I don't agree with that part, but okay.
Never censored anything, nor have we ever wanted to. Frankly, if you really want my opinion, I think largely games could be hornier. I think they should be darker. I think they should be stranger. At the core of my approach here, and the approach that we take as a company, I genuinely believe that representation is not censorship, it is innovation. Diversity in narrative makes things more intense. It can make it more visceral and more...
Okay, so again, you can agree or disagree with what they offer, but the issue is not that. The issue is there's a lot of... I'm probably now, after, I forget who said it, after hearing about how long the cutscenes are in Metaphor, I'm not going to buy it. I don't hate those people. I just disagree with that kind of a game. I don't want to play that kind of a game if that's true. And so I'm not going to buy it. So you can disagree with what they bring to the table in terms of wanting to write stories the way they want to write. But when it comes to just out and out lies about what they do, the willingness of a lot of people, and some of them in this very chat, I want you to think about what you're really doing for whatever it's worth. Your willingness to believe something with zero evidence, especially really big bad things like they're part of a government agency and they get paid by, companies get paid if they hire these people and pass their test. There is no evidence of that. You don't, and if there is, we should see it. Please provide it, but you don't. And that's cool, but at least acknowledge, hey, I'm one of those people that just likes it when I get what I like echoed back to me. Because I know, like I said, I kicked off this conversation about this woman saying, there's stuff she said that I don't agree with. There's stuff that she, there are tactics her company's used that I don't agree with. But I'm not saying she's a saint. I'm not saying she's not up there doing damage control for her company. But I also think that if you're going to offer a claim that they are more powerful than just a work for hire consultancy firm, I think you need to kind of offer up some receipts. Well, Tim Duncan says now gamers are voting with their wallets. Okay, fine, but you're not really though, because I mean they did work on Ragnarok, which was a huge seller. They did work on Spider-Man 2, that was a huge seller. They've worked on, like she said, 80 games. A lot of them have done well. But yeah, if you want to go to a list and go, I won't buy a game that Sweet Baby worked on, that is your right. But be aware that if you're doing it because of what a lot of these grifters have told you about them, and you haven't decided to ask for proof of those things, that's kind of a you problem. And woe unto those who have to deal with you in real life, because you clearly have very little in the way of, critical thinking skills. And that's worrisome. That's what I'd say. How many mainstream gamers are aware of any of this? None. This is inside baseball as you get. Inside baseball as you get. But it does go back to this guy. It goes back to Grums. He clearly is out there banging these drums. And he makes money off it. And that's great. Maybe he believes it. But I just ask you, if you're going to believe this guy, at least open your mind to believe some of her shit. And believe some of her shit is bullshit and it's damage control, but some of it's true. And allow yourself the mental space to believe maybe some of this guy's stuff is true, but a lot of it's also horseshit. That's all I would say. That's all I would say. Here's something else you need to know. The Halloween sale is happening over on PlayStation, and there are some amazing fucking deals. There are really good deals on full games, man. Resident Evil 3, 7, Resident Evil 2, 3 Remake. You can get these games, if you don't already have them, for $7. $7. You can get all of the Dark Picture Anthology Series 1 for $40. And there's some good games. This one specifically, The Devil in Me, is great. So what I will tell you is spend some time, if you have a PlayStation, over on the Halloween sale. And what I'm going to do, if I have time, I want to make a video doing this because I'm very interested. But if you sort it and you go, I want the full game and I want it under $199. There's still some really good fucking games that are In Sound Mind is a real, it's like a 80 or a 75 out of 100. But if you're jonesing for a well-produced, interesting horror game, that'll get $1.74. Lost Words is excellent. It'll cost you 74 cents. Stories Untold will cost you $1.50. There are some really good games under $1 in here. So, just letting you know that's going on right now. I put this in my cart, Gigopolis. I don't even know what it is. Sounds good, though. Support. You always want to support the indie devs. We'll support them, especially at these prices. Not too bad. Check them out over there. Lost at Sea. That was a big game from EA, I think. From EA Partners, I think. What else we got in here? We got a lot of good stuff in here, man. Check it out. What else we talking about? I'm going to save a bunch of this stuff. That's saving. I'm going to close it out with this today. Hello, Just Incredible. Have you seen this? Apparently this show is over on Amazon. I'm going to watch it with the family tonight. Sounds delightful. It is I guess it's like a, what am I thinking? It's like a Wipeout show, but with people in monster costumes. What the fuck am I looking at? Look at this. Monster Special Death Mix. You can watch all these on Amazon. Have you guys seen this? Look at this goddamn thing. I know it's old. I'm aware it's old. That's what makes it so weird. Like, what the fuck am I looking at? I didn't know this was a thing. So I'll be watching this tonight. I'll report back to you tomorrow. Wayfinder 1.0 went from mad offline with co-op. Yeah, I hear the new Wayfinder is great. I hear it actually was able to, turn the corner. I'm going to be looking into it. Ravnos is waiting in the call-in room. I don't even see him in the call-in room. I'm on the channel. It's woke. Yeah. Mimic. I don't know if I ever saw Mimic, Mutant Mo. Okay. Did I see the Sakura news? No. What happened? Let's see. Masharo Sakurai. Oh, yeah, about his YouTube channel. Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. That'll be on tomorrow's show. I watched the first 2 episodes of Penguin, and I liked it a lot, but I haven't been that compelled to go back and see it again. But it's really good. There's nothing bad about it. It's not in the headspace. All right. Dear delightful children, listen, seriously, don't forget, tomorrow, Lunch with Jaffe at 1 o'clock is coming up. Call of Duty game week. We're going to do something on Saturday or Sunday if you're a member, and there'll be a new Brain on Games coming up starting next week for members, and it'll be going free this weekend for everybody. Consider a subscription. Consider liking the show. Don't be a moron. Consider a membership and subscribing and telling your buds and friends and joining our all the shit you got to do to keep me rolling in the dough. Let's just be clear. It's all about getting me to be able to buy a huge cabin in the mountains. That's all it's about. Or a tiny house. Would you live in a tiny house? I'd live in. I don't like the maintenance of homes. So if I ever buy a house again, like a real house, it's going to be one that I can afford to hire somebody to run it, because I don't want to deal with all the maintenance. That's what I hated about owning a home. But do all those things. Like and subscribe and buy a membership at the highest tier. Join the Patreon to listen to various podcast versions of the show. Tell your friends about the show. Tell your other podcasts that, hey, get Jaffe on your show. Help him sing out the message of the Gabbin' in the Game so I can buy a big cabin in the woods. What's the matter with you? What's wrong with your brain pan? My dearest, delightful friends, be well. Seriously. Be well, be safe. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you spending some time with me.
That's a huge bitch.
It's true. It's true. And I will see you guys tomorrow on a normal Gabbin' and Games. Then I'll see members, Cult Calypso and Higher, over on the Lunch with Jaffe. All right. Be well, be safe, and I'll see you soon.